what we teach. Are you all familiar with Israelites at all? Anybody not familiar with them?
You always hear about the Israelites.
You normally hear them talking about black Israelites.
Or they sometimes they call us
Sometimes
they call us black Hebrew Israelites. That's not a title that we subscribe to, but that's what they call us sometimes. But we like to come to different places where our people are, barbershops, beauty salons, wherever our people are. We like to discuss issues in the community. We like to discuss solutions, how we can fix things, and we always take it back to a biblical standpoint. So everything we teach is out the Bible, is biblically based. Every answer we give is going to be biblically based. So what is it that you guys know about the Israelites so far? Right? And maybe what you feel about it. Everything, we're open for everything. We just like having discussions about our community.
I've heard about them. I want to learn it. I don't know.
Okay.
So as an Israelite, is that y'all Islamic or Christian?
Israelites are, when you read the Bible, Israelites are God's chosen people. That's essentially who they are. If you want to call them Christians, yes, they are called Christians or followers of Christ. But Israelites are a nation of people. So you know how we say we're African Americans or black, how we would say we're a nation? The Israelites are a nation of people. That's essentially what it is. You read about them in the Bible. So there are differences between us, like Islam, Christianity, these are all religions. Being an Israelite is not a religion, it's a nationality, it's a culture, it's a heritage. Completely different than religion. Religions are man-made, they're given to you, like Christianity was given to us in a different form. You know, it was given to us as in slavery. Catholicism, all them things were given to us in a particular way. It was man-made. Israelites is something that you are born as. Just like you're born a Caucasian, born an Arab, you're born a certain way, that's what Israelites are. You're born that way. You can't choose.
What region did like the Israelites, it's like the native, what's like the native land of the Israelites?
Israel.
Israel.
Yeah, Jerusalem, Israel, and the east.
But I'm saying, but you saying Jerusalem, right? Because when we speak about Israel, Israel just became its own nation within the 19th century. So
Right, 1948. Yep.
Exactly. So what about prior to?
Prior to.
Like what would be the terminology, or what would you call yourself prior to the country being formed?
Well, the thing is, Israel was a people before it was a place.
Exactly.
So they made Israel a Jewish state in 1948, but it was already a people before it was a place. So I just want to read something real quick. Read Genesis 32:28. So Israel is named, the nation is named after a man. Anybody familiar with a man named Jacob? Like Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
Yeah.
Israel was named after Jacob. So Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and then Israel became a people that came out of him. So just read that real quick.
Genesis chapter 32 and verse 27. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
So his name was changed to Israel, and then the people that came from him are called Israelites.
Okay.
The word, I guess the prefix or suffix "ite," it just means people of. So people of Israel. That's all it means.
People that came from them as offspring?
Yeah, his children. Yeah, his children. So basically, what we teach our people is we are the offspring of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob. Because you look at our people, we ask them their nationality. Like if I ask you, sis, what's your name? Stephanie. If I asked you your nationality, what would you say it was?
Black.
Black. Sis next to it, Afro? Black.
But then that's a
Black. Everybody would say black, right?
But that's a color.
But it's a color. We hear black, we hear African American, we hear religion sometimes.
And then African American got adopted.
Right.
Shit, in the 19th, Jesse Jackson did that. You know what I'm saying?
So how is it that our nationality is only as old as, when it was established in 80s with Jesse Jackson, right? So we ask our people, who are we? Because we call ourselves Afro-American, African American, coloreds, Negroes. So prior to those titles that were given to us, majority of them were given to us in slavery or after slavery. So who are we before that? You see what I'm saying?
Alright, when he asked you a question about like, are y'all Christian or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of missed it, but I see y'all in the Bible, you know? So
That's their primary book. Do y'all have any other book outside the Bible that y'all get information from?
We any book we use, we take it through the Bible. If it doesn't line up with the Bible, we don't use it.
So by you using this Bible, that wouldn't make you a Christian?
No, using the Bible doesn't automatically make you Christian. Just like you look at
Oh, that's obvious.
people that say they're Christians, right?
Yeah.
So what does Christian mean? It just means a follower of Christ. So a lot of our people don't actually follow Christ because they don't know. They may not know how to.
What about any other books like the Quran? Y'all don't take any information from the Quran? The
I mean,
Torah?
some of us have read it before, but we don't actually use it because this is our heritage. Like this was given to us. If you look at nations, like you look at Chinese, they have scrolls, they have history records. Our records are the Bible.
But
So
we,
prior to
man,
slavery,
but
that's
just
our
like you
records.
said, like it literally was handed to us. So
Talking about the Bible, right?
exactly,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, by the slave owners or you know what I'm saying, oppressors or whatnot. So do y'all go all the way through it? Because the Bible is the book is crazy. You're gonna get enlightenment, but then people getting killed, raped, murdered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gruesome, but then you know it's enlightening at the same time.
Right.
So it's like, what about those? What about the despairing parts of the Bible?
So the thing is that a lot of times they'll say like the Bible is the white man's book or it was given to us in slavery. But prior to slavery, we already had it. We already had the Bible. So you look in, you ever heard of the Moors? These are people that had the Bible as well. The Moors are the same people as the people that were on the slave ships. The same black people that came from Spain, that came from Russia. Same people. But they had the Bible before that. And then even before Russia, before that time, they had the Bible as well. So the Bible is our records. They just reintroduced it to us a particular way in slavery. They said slaves obey your masters. They said just different things they brought. They brought a white Jesus. They brought a white God, white angel. They brought all those things during slavery. So it got reintroduced to us a particular way. But it wasn't handed to us. It was always our book.
What about, how y'all feel about the Egyptian Book of the Dead? Because, I mean, the Bible, for the most part, is lifted from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You know what I'm saying?
Go
And
to Isaiah 30.
it's just the name, you know, certain names been changed or whatnot, and then
Yeah. So read it quick.
Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
So the Bible instructs us to always seek out of the book of the Lord. Go ahead.
No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate.
So there's no book that you can mate with the Bible. There are a lot of books copy the Bible. Every book you look at, they all have a Genesis story. They all have a creation story. They all have some level of law in it. But a lot of them get it from the Bible. A lot of them get those things from the actual text. And then it says that none of them shall want her mate, meaning none of the prophecies that you see in the Bible, you can never see that in another book. It's like the Quran, right? The Quran doesn't show black people, African Americans, or Hispanics, who they were before slavery. Any book you read should be able to show you who you are, where you come from, and where you're supposed to go. The Quran doesn't show you that. The Book of the Dead doesn't show you that. But the Bible shows us very specifically where we came from, how we got there, and where we're going.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
So you have the Egyptians, right? The Egyptians are African people, right? So are those people the same people as us? What would y'all say?
No.
The Africans in Africa, are they the same people as we?
I wouldn't say currently, hell no. Like,
I mean,
no.
if they were back then, they got to be the same people now. So by blood, are we the same people?
No.
By blood, I would say yes.
You would say yes. What would y'all say?
I'm
You
no.
talking about
No.
I'm talking about the Africans that live in Africa, the Egyptians.
So the current Egyptians that live in Africa now?
Not necessarily the current ones. I mean, like the Egyptians, like King Tut, Ramses, all these different people. Are they the same as the Israelites? Same as us?
No.
No, of course.
No,
According to
they're
the Bible, they would be different.
Right. According to the Bible, they're not the same. Because when you read Exodus, right? Remember
Right, the
Moses.
Hebrews and the Egyptians,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly. They're not the same. We're dark people. Did anybody have a Zonovan by any chance? Came
Not
out
what?
Not prepared. There is a Bible dictionary that that scholars came up with. They basically show you different things out the Bible, and you have three sons that came from Noah. You had Ham, Shem, and Japheth.
Yeah.
From Ham, Ham is the father of the African people, but he's not the father of our people, right? We don't come from him. We come from Shem. So you ever heard in like the news they talk about people like anti-Semitic and things of that nature? That's going into our forefather Shem. That's all it's going
Exactly.
to.
So in the speaking,
But we're not the same as the African people.
but wouldn't you agree that speaking down on black people, wouldn't that be anti-Semitic?
No. The reason
Why
why,
not?
because remember, Shem is, when they say Semitic, it just means Shem. Shem is the father of, one of the forefathers of the Israelites. We come from him. Ham is a whole different person, a whole different nation. So he is not Shemitic. He is not Semitic. So you can't, just because you speak down against him or speak against him, doesn't mean it's anti-Semitic. Everybody that's black does not necessarily mean that there are people. Like East Indians, right? East Indians are the ones that you have the dots on the head from India. Some of them are darker than us.
Exactly.
Some of them are darker than the majority of people in here. You have, you have Africans, obviously very dark people. It's the Chinese people. Some of them can be dark. Some of them people can be very dark. Many people were very dark prior to colonization.
Yeah.
So color itself does not identify people. It does not identify a place of origin or your nationality. You see what I'm saying? So the color alone does not unite us as a people.
So as far as the Israelites, we would have been in Africa, enslaved, and then brought here.
Right. That's what the Bible teaches us.
Well, how do you feel about, people would argue that you have black people already in the Americas already, and some never were enslaved. So how do you feel about that in comparison to the ones that would have been captured and brought over?
So I want to show you something there. It kind of go down the same road of how we talked about religion, we talked about African, etc. Go to Deuteronomy 28. Go to verse 15. So initially, our people, the question should be is how did we get into the situation we're in? Which you have to ask, how did we get into slavery in the first place? Because that's what led to where we are today, right? We went from slavery to 2023. Why did our people go into slavery in the first place?
Disobedient
Disobedient to what?
of the word that we were given.
Okay. What else? What would y'all say, sister? Why did our people go into slavery? That's a major part of our history. That's really the only history we know about ourselves is slavery. So if that happened, why did we go into slavery?
So they wanted to capitalize, right?
They want to capitalize on us.
Capitalize in for profit.
Labor. Okay. Anybody else?
Are we talking about like previous slavery, like
I mean, it's
back,
many slavery.
like Hebrew? Are we talking about slavery back then? Or are we talking about like the American slavery?
I'm speaking on particularly the transatlantic slave trade, specifically that one. The reason's gonna be the same throughout all of it.
I mean, profit.
Profit.
Would be obviously one of the reasons. Assuming that you have some other reason.
Okay. Of course, we can give a biblical account of why we went to slavery, because the Bible actually teaches you about our particular slaveries, all of them. How we got into slavery, what we did in slavery, everything. It teaches you about all of it. But you got to think about it. How is it that this particular nation, the Caucasian race, decided to just come and find our people or get to our people and just sell us? It just doesn't add up when you think about it the way that, the way it's presented in school. It says because we want to make money, we want to trade, all these different things.
It definitely don't add up, because I'm trying to figure out how you about to come take 100,000
Millions of people.
folks, and y'all low in the numbers.
Exactly. So I'm going to show you. Let's read 28 verse 15. This goes back to what we teach, is that we teach our people, that Israelites, our history started in the Bible. They started way back. It don't start just in 1611, 1619. It didn't start then. It started way back. So read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So anybody familiar with the books of Moses at all? Familiar with the Bible at all? Just a little bit. So Deuteronomy, basically, Moses is speaking to the Israelites after they left Egypt. After they left slavery in Egypt, he's speaking to them, telling them what they should and should not do, whatever came from the Lord. So he said, if they don't listen to God, go ahead.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So essentially what he's saying is, if they don't listen to God, if they don't follow the commandments that he gave, you have thou shalt not kill, steal, and a bunch of other commandments. If they don't listen to what God says, then they'll be cursed. So, did anybody know that the Israelites listened to God?
No.
No, we know historically the Israelites did not listen to God, right? So he said they would be cursed. So as you read down from 16 all the way down to 68, you're going to read all these different curses that's going to identify who these people are. Real quick, read 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So the they is talking about, it's talking about the curses. The curses will be upon the Israelites for a sign and for a wonder. So what is the purpose of the sign?
What's the purpose of
The purpose of the sign, yeah.
Of the sign, to show you something.
It's to show you something, to identify something, right? I wouldn't notice if you're a barber shop without seeing the sign, right? Same thing with the street sign, with the living room. I'm not going to know unless I see the sign. So God said the curses are going to be used for a sign to identify who the Israelites are in the last days, because they won't know. Go ahead.
And upon thy seed forever.
So it said these curses or these signs, the identifiers are going to be upon these people forever. Meaning all the way 3,000 years ago when it was written to today. It's going to be upon the seed, those people. So they say that the Israelites or the Jews or the Jewish people are the people over there in Israel right now, the Caucasians. So that means that those signs we're going to read should match them. If they don't match them, that means that they aren't the Jews and somebody else is. So let's read a few. Let's read verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So one of the curses that would come upon the Israelites is they would be cursed in the city. What does that mean? To be cursed in the city. Say this. What's a curse in the first place? What is a curse? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's a bad thing, right? So it says, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city." What does that mean? What does that look like?
Excuse me, can you repeat that, brother?
Question was, it says, the Bible says, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city." So what does that mean? Chaos? Okay.
Curse shall not be in the sea.
No. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
In the city?
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
So we're talking about curse within the city, right?
In the city, right, yeah. So if you say, if you're trying to identify these people by this particular curse, and you're saying they're cursed in the city, what type of things do these particular people go through in the city, in their cities? What do their cities look like?
Political change, political challenges.
Look like,
Looks like, there you go, it's the ghetto.
look like everything that's going against the commandments.
Everything going against the commandments. So you look in the city of Detroit, right? You have a lot of murder. You have a lot of drug dealing. There's a lot of stuff in the city. I mean, you could go on. There's a lot of theft, a lot of hatred, a lot of things that go on in the city, right? Does that happen in Bloomfield Hills?
Not as
prevalent, no. What about our school systems? Do we have some of the best school systems out there? The best home housing systems, best education. So when it says "cursed shall thou be in the city," it's talking about all those things. So when you look in Detroit specifically, we don't have the best education. Majority of the schools we see are abandoned schools are back in the early 1900s.
We ain't nothing but best dressed.
Exactly. So you have impoverished people, you have poor people, right? So God is saying that these particular people are going to be cursed within their cities. There's going to be low opportunity, low wages, a lot of poverty, homelessness. You don't see that in Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, farming. You don't see that there.
You don't see a lot. I tell people all the time, it's just like even the homes or whatever, it's like a person would be quick to throw trash out the car and litter. You're not even gonna think twice about that. You went Bloomfield Hills.
Exactly.
You're scared.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's already a mental condition because you can't wait to pull into the city. You're gonna go shit right out the window. You know what I'm saying?
There's people that come from other cities that dump their trash in our city.
For sure.
That's how they view our people. Because it's the thing, if we don't do that in their cities, that means that we have a level of respect and reverence for them. So we're not going to do that to them. We're not going to go over there and sell drugs as heavily as we do it here over there, because we have a level of respect. Whether we consciously see it or not, we have a level of respect for the people that live over there that we do for our own people. Because we'll come here, we'll kill each other, we'll sell drugs, we'll throw trash everywhere. All these things we'll do in our city because we don't have respect for our own people. We don't love ourselves. But God says we'll be cursed in our cities. So this is one thing that will identify our people. It don't identify the Jewish people. They have their own land. Or it's not theirs, but they have their own land.
They got communities.
They got communities.
everything.
They control
Markets.
they control
doctors.
markets. They control the music industry. They control everything. They have their own communities. They have one in Southfield. You see what I'm saying? They have all these things. So that shows you that this is not talking about them. But keep going.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So then it goes on to say, will be cursed in the field. So you take it back a few hundred years. Who was cursed in the field? We were the ones picking cotton, sugar cane, tobacco. Was Caucasians doing that? Chinese, Arabs? These people were not doing that. The Chinese had us in slavery. If anybody heard of the Silk Road slavery? Remember when they were trying to think of what it was. Can't remember what it was called. But they were trading us for silk back and forth with the Arabs.
Like merchants, road type of thing.
Right, and you look at the Great Wall of China, how that stuff was built around those time periods when we were in slavery doing those things. You had the Arabs. The Arabs had us in slavery as well. So all these people had our people in slavery. So it said, cursed shall thou be in the field. So we were cursed in those particular times in the field. No other nation had to go through the things we had to go through as a nation. Even you look at, bring them to today, the work field, job field. Do we get the best opportunities when it comes to jobs?
Not at all.
Do we get the best education to prepare us for these jobs? When I was in high school, they didn't teach me how to be a business owner. They don't teach me how to deal with my finances. They don't teach me how to deal with potentially becoming a husband or keeping my emotions in check. Nobody teaches you those things.
High school prepare you for the workforce or jail.
That's what our high schools do.
Exactly.
You go to Farmington, you go somewhere else, they're going to teach you
got
all them things. They got trades, they got all these things.
Well,
But here in the city, in the ghettos, you go to Atlanta, you go to any city you go to with our people in it, it's going to be the same thing. You might have an HBCU here and there, but that don't change much. It don't change the mindset of those children going into HBCUs every year. So
what's the misconception that you feel that most Black Americans have about the Israelites in general? Because you know, I see it for myself, you know, it's outside looking in, a lot of people not always receptive. But in the same token, people don't even go to church no more either, so.
I'm gonna touch on that point. I'm gonna get to it. As we go, I'm gonna touch that same point.
Sure.
Read where we at? We're in 16. Read verse 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So another curse that happened to the Israelites is their sons and their daughters to be given to another people. What does that sound like?
Interracial dating. Or what?
Not exactly. He said they'll be given to another people.
Slavery.
Slavery.
Yeah, slavery.
So he's very clear what he's saying. Moses is telling you these are the curses that will happen to these people if they break the commandment. He said, I'm going to give your kids to another people. Meaning we weren't able to enjoy our children because they were sold into slavery. Have y'all seen, there's a new movie that came out, it's called Emancipation. Anybody seen that? Anybody seen Birth of a Nation?
Yeah.
Okay, so all these movies show our people's captivity, or what we went through. So our children, even in Emancipation, I don't want to ruin the movie. I'm not going to ruin the movie.
Don't hear. Man, listen, slave movies are slave movies.
Y'all gotta watch. Y'all
Y'all
should want to see these things because they take slavery out of schools now.
But I'm tired of slave movies. Y'all ain't tired of that?
No, because we read the Bible.
Where king movies at?
What do you mean?
I'm saying like showing us in prominence. We always being lowballed.
That's because we don't know anything but being lowball. That's all we see every.
I mean, but you just said it. That's Hollywood for you.
We haven't, but we have. And I'll say this for our congregation, for our organization. We actually are coming out with movies like that. We have a movie that just came out recently. So, but I get y'all the information afterwards. But the Bible says that our people will be given, our kids will be given to another people. That's just another curse to show who those people are. Read verse 46. Actually, no, I'm sorry, 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
So he said we would become a proverb. Anybody know what a proverb is?
So we become a proverb?
Proverb,
Like
yeah.
proverb, like Bible proverb?
What is it? It's like a lesson.
Like a lesson? You said a lesson? Kind of like
it's like a wise saying. Well, I guess like almost like
Yeah,
a
like that's what I was
stereotype.
saying from the Bible.
Yeah, so we said we will become a proverb wherever we go. Whatever nation the Lord sends us to through slavery, will become a proverb. So we became Negroes, we become niggers, we become thugs. All them negative terms that we receive, God said we receive them in the lands that we would go and be captives in. So different stereotypes like, I ask y'all, what type of stereotypes do we have as a people? I say for black men, what type of stereotypes do we have?
Lazy, no good fathers,
Deadbeats.
deadbeats.
What else?
We going off black men.
Black men. Black men.
Alcoholic.
Alcoholics, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Drug addicts, drug dealers.
Yep.
Aggressive.
Piece of shit.
Definitely aggressive.
Aggressive, yeah. Okay. All right, so sisters, what type of
Shit,
negative,
they.
what kind of negative stereotypes do black women have? What type of negative stereotypes do black women have? Say it again? No, for black women, what type of negative stereotypes do y'all have?
Angry all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Loud, that's another one.
Yeah.
That's another one. What else? These are all things that we receive in the lands that we go and be captive in. Even to your point, I'm going to show you something. Read verse 30. Because in slavery, they played on those types of things. Like you said, our women would be called sluts. In slavery, they used our women for particular things. And that same use that they had back then, they try to keep that alive even today. Read verse 30.
Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
So betroth means to promise yourself to get ready to be married to. So he said we would betroth the wife in slavery, or back in that time, or throughout time, we would betroth the wife, but another man will lie with her. In slavery, the master will come and sleep with our women. People think the Bible is like a weird fairy tale book that it doesn't make any sense, but the Bible is just real life. From back then to now.
It just depends. It contradicts itself. But like I said, you can pick and choose what you want to
No, you can't.
take. I mean,
but I say this. A lot of people say
because they murder and kill, they going crazy.
I understand. I'm showing.
So that's why I meant by pick and choose, though.
No, that's the point, though. The reason why you see things like murders or whatever, the laws are very particular. The reason why the Bible is misunderstood, the reason why people think it contradicts itself, is because they don't understand who it's for and what it's about. So particularly the Bible, like we're reading right now, we're talking about curses that came upon who? The Israelites. Are we talking about Chinese right now? Are we talking about Japanese? Are we talking about anybody else? We're talking about one particular people. The whole entire Bible, as you read, is talking about one nation of people, and that's it.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.